You are 336 meters inside a cave when your fire suddenly goes out, taking the entire visible world with it. There is no moonlight, no starlight, and no pale entrance behind you, only darkness without distance or direction. Then someone relights the flame. Wet walls, pale stone columns, and several Neanderthal faces suddenly return around you. At your feet is something that should not exist here. Hundreds of broken stalagmites arranged by deliberate hands. The pieces form 2 large rings and 4 smaller piles, some blackened or reddened by ancient heat. Water did not stack these pieces. Falling rock did not create repeated curves. This construction is unmistakably human. Someone moved roughly 2 tons of calcite into position inside a chamber where sunlight could never reach. The work happened about 176,500 years ago, long before modern humans became established anywhere in Europe. The builders were Neanderthals, but they left no painting, message, or instruction explaining what the rings meant. Only stone, fire, and darkness remain. Why did Stone Age humans gather in this impossible underground room? You begin near Bruniquel in southwestern France, in a world of unstable climates, large animals, and severe winters. The entrance may have been less than 2 meters high, forcing everyone to lower their heads immediately. You enter carrying fire, extra fuel, and companions. Going alone would make you a permanent archaeological feature. The floor is uneven, the ceiling changes height, and every turn hides the route you just traveled. Your flame does not merely reveal the path. Beyond its small glow, the cave has no visible shape. Water falls somewhere in the blackness, but the echo gives every sound 10 possible locations at once. To travel 336 meters, your group must estimate fuel, protect flames, and decide when to light replacements. You must remember every turn, keep the group together, and trust that the leader truly recognizes the rocks. Before any stone is moved, reaching this depth already demonstrates memory, communication, and reliable control of fire. The darkness itself proves a community could prepare for danger, share responsibility, and follow one common plan. The passage opens into a chamber about 35 meters long and 25 meters wide. Here the Neanderthals stop, not near sheltering daylight, but deep inside the mountain where none can reach. Mineral-rich water has built stalagmites here, drop by drop across periods almost impossible to imagine. They grow slowly. You remove one quickly with a controlled strike and a surprisingly loud crack. You choose the straight middle section, leave the base and tip, then carry the selected piece away. The process repeats until roughly 400 pieces cover the work area, ready to become something larger. Placed end to end, the pieces would stretch more than 112 meters and weigh around 2.2 tons. The larger ring reaches 6.7 by 4.5 meters. The smaller measures about 2.2 by 2.1. Some rows rise 4 layers high. Short pieces support longer ones, while upright fragments brace the sides. This is organized labor, not prehistoric furniture rearrangement. Your group is deliberately redesigning the cave itself. Imagine building from the cave floor without a ruler, chalk line, drawing, or helpful view from above. Your fire illuminates only one short section, while the rest of the unfinished structure disappears into darkness. Even so, the builders choose similarly sized pieces and position them in repeated forms around each curve. Some people search and break stone. Others carry it, place it, and keep the growing rows stable. Someone notices when a curve becomes too narrow. Someone else prevents a heavy row from rolling inward. Perhaps an experienced builder directs the work, or the pattern spreads through gestures, observation, and imitation. We cannot hear their instructions, but their coordination survives as a physical shape in the cave. The rings are imperfect, but repeated selection and placement prove that everyone shared an intended result. This challenges the old caricature of Neanderthals as powerful bodies with very little planning behind their brows. Building here required exploration, fuel, and design. Understanding why the result mattered remains much harder. Look closely, and the pale darkness begins to show red, black, and brown traces left by heat. Researchers identified 57 reddened pieces and 66 blackened ones among the carefully arranged stalagmites. Burned material even included one small non-graphic bone fragment from a bear or large herbivore. All 6 arrangements carry evidence of fire, so flame was more than transportation equipment for the journey. Small fires provided light and allowed the group to remain longer, although smoke still had to escape somehow. Fire illuminates faces from below, while stone points hang overhead, and darkness waits beyond the glow. Outside the firelight, a person can vanish, while one quiet sound feels close enough to touch. For everyone inside, the small circle of light temporarily becomes the entire human world. Did the stone mark fire stations, protect flames, organize movement, or illuminate something that has disappeared? Archaeology can confirm burning. It cannot translate the atmosphere or meaning shared by those gathered here. Begin with practical explanations. Underground temperature is stable, and thick rock can block storms and bitter cold. But this deepest chamber is an inefficient home when wood, food, and tools must travel 336 meters. Ordinary living sites usually leave food waste and daily debris. At Bruniquel, the structures dominate instead. Perhaps it was a workshop, but what resource or product required this exact room so far underground? Perhaps the rings were barriers, although walls this low would stop neither a bear nor a distracted Neanderthal. Maybe stones supported a covering, but no preserved posts remain, and building a roof inside a roof seems inconvenient. The chamber might have stored material, maintained fires, or supported equipment that completely decayed over time. Ancient practical activities often look mysterious after wood, fiber, food, and every other useful part disappears. Each practical explanation solves one clue, but creates another problem that the surviving evidence cannot answer. Whatever the purpose, the builders did not merely enter the darkness. They invested extraordinary effort in it. Now comes the tempting answer offered whenever archaeology finds something dramatic but difficult to explain. Ritual. You travel beyond daylight, enter a separated chamber, and gather around flames inside carefully constructed rings. Sound echoes. Faces appear and vanish, and the ordinary world feels impossibly distant. It certainly seems ceremonial. But atmosphere is not proof, and a mysterious mood cannot identify the purpose of an archaeological site. No burial, connected painting, or clear offering survives to confirm that a ceremony occurred here. It could have hosted teaching, seasonal gathering, shared work, or a social tradition with no modern name. Calling every unexplained object ritual can hide uncertainty beneath one impressive but unsupported modern label. The strongest clue is architectural. People deliberately created a bounded place separated from normal daily life. Only people sharing light, route knowledge, and cooperation can reach this chamber. The journey itself binds them together. Practical or symbolic, you enter together, build together, and leave together, if the last torchbearer remains attentive. The architecture is remarkable, but its age makes Bruniquel one of archaeology's greatest underground surprises. Scientists dated both the broken stalagmite surfaces and calcite that slowly grew over them afterward. Uranium series dating turned those mineral layers into a clock reaching far beyond radiocarbon's useful range. The result was approximately 176,500 years old, with an uncertainty of about 2,100 years. That date is far too early for modern humans in Europe. Neanderthals occupied this region instead. Organized deep cave activity once seemed much later. Bruniquel pushed it far deeper into human history. Wood, fiber, and hide decay, often making ancient life look like an endless meeting about sharp rocks. At Bruniquel, calcite sealed the construction and preserved organized behavior that would usually disappear completely. When cavers reopened the sealed cave in 1990, an early burned bone test could reveal only extreme age. The darkness protected a message from an unexpectedly old mind, and protected its meaning just as effectively. The question of why remains open, but asking what this gathering required produces much firmer answers. It required controlled fire, carefully carried fuel, and enough timing to prevent the expedition from losing light. It required remembering a complicated route with no sunlight and returning through the same twisting passages. It required choosing this particular chamber, returning to it, and deciding that it deserved transformation. The builders sorted hundreds of pieces, moved 2.2 tons, and maintained curves under partial light. None of this proves Neanderthals thought exactly like us, and the evidence does not need that claim. It proves they planned beyond the immediate moment and coordinated many actions toward one shared physical result. The shapes preserve cooperation, the burns preserve presence, and the great depth preserves unmistakable intention. Uncertainty strengthens the story by preventing us from forcing ancient behavior into a familiar modern category. Long before cities built special rooms, Neanderthals organized one for their own purpose inside a mountain. Return to the chamber once more. The work is finished, and the large ring curves through firelight. You stand among people whose names vanished, perhaps completing a task so ordinary they never explained it. They cannot know rock, sediment, and calcite will eventually seal the entrance for more than 140,000 years. Flames vanish first, then footprints, and every fragile object that might have explained the stones. Yet the arrangement survives, waiting in sealed darkness long after its builders and purpose are gone. When science maps and dates the chamber, the builders return, not as faces, but as a sequence of decisions. Break this piece, carry it there, continue the curve, protect the fire, wait for the others. Another kind of human entered total darkness and created an organized place. They were not lost. Sunlight never reached Bruniquel's rings, but 176,500 years later, the people who built them are visible again. Thanks for joining this journey into deep human history. Follow the channel for our next strange ancient discovery